Coming in with the VR4. This project car is going to need a little bit of work. Hey Hunter, we got you a surprise. Come on out. It's for you. Look at that. Look at that. What do you think, man?
Looks like it's straight from the factory, yeah.
Yeah, that's I think it's made that way, wasn't it?
I mean, it appears to be, yeah.
This is the mid-engine version, except they forgot to put the engine in the back. So, yeah, so this was literally, somebody was going like 4 miles an hour in a parking lot and tapped on those concrete posts, and the mid-engine model is just collapsible in the front. So, that's what happened. I swear. No, the story on this car actually is this car was in an accident in a salvage yard, and one of our clients actually ended up buying it, and he asked them to, hey, take out the engine for me. And unfortunately, that he necessarily explained to them that he may have wanted to save any of this car at the same time, and so he came back later, and this is kind of how they took the engine out of it. So yes, this car was wrecked very badly, but it wasn't to this degree here. The airbag did deploy, but as far as I know, the occupant was okay, and so it does kind of go on to prove, you know, how strong these things are. It also was hit in the rear during this event. So like I mentioned earlier, I would never do this to a restorable VR4, but we are going to cut everything off of here we need to make Brent's SL all-wheel drive. And so you end up needing the entire rear subframe, the trailing arms, the axles, but mainly you need the sheet metal where the front of the subframe actually bolts to the car. And so we're going to cut that out. Obviously anything on the car that's useful, like the doors, and we still have the twin turbo brakes, so we're going to save those for Brent's car. This also has kind of the relatively unusual 16-inch VR4 rims, and these do clear the brakes. That's a factory option. I don't know if you can read, but that's a R16 on there. And so these are actually in a little bit better condition than his SL wheels, so we're actually going to run these for a little while, so it should be fun. But we'll try to take some shots today. We'll try to take some video today. Obviously, we have a lot to get done. I don't want this sitting here overnight. We're just going to take it right to the scrapyard when we're done cutting off what we need. And so we won't be able to do a shot-for-shot shot. But we do want to show you a few things, particularly when we go to cut out the rear subframe part. As bad as this car is, we may actually just cut this car down the middle to give us a much smaller piece to just work with and just flip over and be able to stand there and work on it. But we're going to kind of see how it goes. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel. We are going to shoot putting this into Brent's SL, the parts that we need. And we just want to do a really good job, really solid, so that car is just as strong as factory. Don't know if this is something we'll offer for customers in the future, but there's a lot of other ways we can get revenge on your ride. Hey, Hunter here. How you relaxing in that fine machine?
It's AC works, and I'm not hot at all. I'm actually very
really?
cold.
I mean, you were really complaining. So we took the 2 bolts still holding this fender off.
Yeah. And
then the door, which is a couple bolts, and now you got your open air motoring you always wanted.
Yeah.
It's hard to see out of the front, isn't it?
I mean, it's I have a little piece like right here.
And you wear glasses, so the bugs and stuff will be fine.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Well, when we sawzall the roof off, you have quite the roadster.
Yeah. Excited to see where this project goes.
Yeah, me too. Let's see if we can get it off here without making it look worse. Operation when you don't have, this is getting to be quite the operation when you don't have a forklift or a tractor, but we're getting it done.
You're tight. Whoa, whoa.
We're putting jack stands under it, don't worry. Fellas, give her the womps. Hunter, you left the bolt in here, bud.
What's the bolt in there?
Yeah, right there.
I thought I got them both.
This is unedited. If you don't get all the 14s out, see that there's two nuts there and there's a wire between them.
Right here.
And so yeah, he got the top one and not the back one. That's okay.
I thought I got them
It's
both.
probably the first time Hunter's ever taken apart a VR4, right?
Yeah.
From scratch.
Yeah.
You got a 14, Brett? We were kicking on it pretty hard, and so I was like, it shouldn't really be a problem.
You got that big impact?
I thought that I got them both.
Yeah, I do. Can get it in there. It's very liberating working on a car this wrecked. Because, I mean, obviously we don't treat nice things this way. It's really nice. Hey!
There she goes.
Woo! That's a lot better. So we fooled you with the double nut. Had a wire on there for a ground or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to raise the car now. And the rear end should just stay on the ground.
It appears to be that way.
Fantastic. We're leaving the wheels on so we can just roll it right out so we don't have to pick it up with like a tractor or something. And it's going to be a couple of months before we get to put this in Brett's car, so we'll just roll it around like this and it'll be easy to move. It's really hard to get a car that's actually got a front end together this high though, so you may have to take your tires off. It's actually easier if you take the struts off too, but since we're allowed to be rough on this car, I wasn't too worried about it. On that stud on the front. Brent, show them where that stud we got to cut out is.
So you come right under here. You see right here there's a stud, this triangular piece here. So the stud is different between the non-VR4 and the VR4s. So what we're actually going to do is, because the SLs and the base models, the shape of this piece is slightly different, we're going to actually cut this whole piece out here, and that way we can cut that similar piece out of the other car, and then we can weld it in the appropriate spot and do it all as correct as possible.
Right. And you got the same situation with these studs. Those are in the correct place on the non-turbo cars, but the stud's actually bigger. And so some people will cut this stud off and then thread the inside of it and thread it onto the stud. We may do that, but since this car is so wrecked, I'm going to sawzall this out and get the stud out intact in case we decide to just make like an access hole on Brent's car and get that correct stud in there. It would be a little stronger, and so we're going to kind of see how involved that is. So we'll come back with these cut out and show you some pictures of that, but I hope this is fun to watch. I can tell you, besides it's about 98 degrees out here right now, It's been a lot of fun. Just anything in the way gets sawzalled or plasma cut, because this car literally has zero good parts on it besides this rear subframe, and so we can really cut anything we want.
Here we are cutting out the car, parts we need.
Most of it. Pretty solid, yeah. I'm gonna have to go back over some of these thick spots where basically just cut lots of extra so we can drill the spot welds out of the original piece once we get this off the car later, and then we'll be able to take his parts out and put it back up there. And since it's pushing forward against his original body, all the spot welds will stitch weld it. It'll actually be just strong as stock. I'm gonna start cutting, dude.
Alrighty. And of course, while he's cutting, safety first, we got our fire extinguisher going that we've used a couple times, lighting this interior on fire, but like we said multiple times here, the interior was completely junk, not salvageable. Everything in it was just ruined from years of sun exposure, weather, water pouring in, hole in the windshield, just nature taking its toll.
Okay.
It blew through right up here.
What's that? Yeah, I guess. There's some wild spread. She should fall that out. Off she goes. There it is.